I'm glad to welcome you to this year's conference. The title of this year's conference was deliberately chosen to engender thought-provoking ideas and actions towards the economic growth of Africa. We're glad you're here today, and we trust you will have a wonderful time.
The reason I left the World Bank Group and IFC and to go into EcoBank, and I've said this to my 18,000 employees, is because, and listen to me, we are going to demonstrate to the rest of the world that a Pan-African bank led by Africans would be second to nobody in Africa for sure. We are trying to push something which is going to be necessary for Africa to develop itself, intra-trade. Intra-Africa trade is going to be key if we want Africa to be successful. And of course, we're into mobile money. This is not about anybody else than us. If one believed that Africa would develop itself because other people would come and help us, doesn't work. It's Africa. If there's opportunity, it's there. I've shown it to you. The question there is, how much are you willing to put into it? Yes, it requires effort. Yes, you would have less access to healthcare. Yes, education, even of your kids, would be an issue. All this, yes. And you can say, you know what? I'm going to take the risk and do that, or I can sit here and retire at 65. This is where the action is.
First of all, I'm increasingly annoyed about talking about Africa, as if it is one reality. You've heard it before, but we keep on doing it. Africa, we average everything out, and therefore the real issues get actually lost. I think we should really start having debates around the extremes in Africa, the extreme good and the extreme bad. Extreme good so that it can be copied, and the extreme bad so that we can look for solutions.
But I think it is possible to do business in Africa, and the future is bright.
We have to remember that middle class is young. You're not dealing with a customer that is 40 and 50 years old and is basically going to become dependent on their children in a few years' time from that. So if you can capture them when they're 18 or 20 or 25 years old, and you can get a loyal customer for life, meaning just imagine the return that you can get on that potential investment.
You can easily say that the Nigerian middle-class consumer has been underserved, underserviced, and overcharged. Anybody who says, you know what, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to give service and I'm going to have a supply chain that delivers my product every day, and I'm going to cut out inefficiency so that my products are not going to be more expensive than they have to be, will be a success guaranteed.
The private sector has a big role to play if agriculture has to come up in Africa. We have a model where we collect we support our farmers in the out farming system, contract farming system. Within the 1 year that we started working, we were able to raise the yields without any additional planting material. That means without giving them any genetically modified varieties, same traditional varieties, 20 tons, from 12 to 20 within a year, just by giving knowledge and know-how to the farmers. So the potential is immense.
Some of the other things we've done is work with partners like Anil, big processors who have offtake agreements with these small farmers. So channeling the funding through these processors and aggregators to allow them to provide more inputs, provide more services to these small farm holders, and indirectly you get capital in to these farmers. So it's just different ways to think about the challenge, and certainly it can draw upon a lot of your structuring, your innovation skills in this room.
Since Africa missed both the agricultural and the industrial revolutions, it shouldn't miss the information revolution.
public sector is in need of very bright people in the private sector to run the public sector.
One of the biggest growth areas, which I'm not sure many of you are paying attention to it, is actually power storage through inverters now. It's growing faster than generator business is growing.
Prepare to go to Africa, to develop Africa. Nobody else is going to develop the place but Africans.
In terms of generation evolving and getting more generation, you need a cost-reflective tariff. You need financial incentives that make sure that your investment gets a return. So that's the first thing. Governments aren't very good at doing that in Africa. They tend to subsidize those tariffs, which means that they delay the investments in generation.
But one of the key differences is that the brightest and the best of the countries didn't go in the same place. The brightest and the best of Singapore went into government, and our brightest and best are sitting here right now. They're not planning to go into government, unless you guys want to surprise me. We must find ways of doing our way, what like Professor Naji did. Find your way to find a means of contributing to government. Have people you call, have people you ask questions, have people you engage with, have somebody you send articles to. The biggest issue we have is that the people that we are looking up to make the changes that we require to see don't know a quarter of the stuff we know. Yeah. And they are intimidated by the stuff you know. We need to get them comfortable.
A leader who thinks that they're going to do everything themselves is bluffing themselves. You can't know everything. I was not trained about stoping and backfilling and all those funny things. But I've got specialists who do that for me. Mine is to ask the questions. Most of them they think are stupid questions. But if they can't answer those stupid questions, it means that they don't know what they're doing. And the best thing, therefore, is to draw out their experiences that make it possible for the company to operate.
It's very simple. We run a voluntary organization. When you're dealing with highly skilled people, highly knowledgeable people, they are volunteers because they can be somewhere else. You're not with us because you want a job and that's all you could ever do is come and work for us. But you're with us because you believe in what we believe in. You want to change the world the way we want to change the world, and you believe it can be changed.
If you want to develop a culture, you need to start young. You need to start with people who don't, preferably with not too much baggage, but people who get it, they understand it, they live it, they exercise it, and over time they become really good in that kind of culture. And so I spend a lot of time working with, I skip all the levels. I go down, I don't know what the strata are, but I go down to the entry-level financial folks. And those are the people that every week I have 20 minutes with any one of them that's anywhere in my building, which is a nightmare for them, right? Because the CFO has skipped, a bunch of executives, managers, supervisors, and said, okay, every week for 20 minutes, we're going to sit down and you're going to tell me what the hell you're working on. How are you adding value to me?
Most of our customers, their most important relationship with us is loyalty. So you've got to look beyond governments, okay? And you got to look beyond. It's about people. It's about integrity, as he was saying. There's nothing more valuable. The most valuable currency you can build is your integrity.
Don't be too much in a hurry to lead. Be too much in a hurry to do things practically. And that which you do good will make you a leader.
The one thing everybody in this room who's graduating or thinking of graduating has that you don't even realize is we are so hungry for you. It is taking all our energy to sit here and not jump out of our seats and try to recruit you.
If you're thinking about, if you've got that feeling in the pit of your gut that says, should I go to Africa? Should I try something? Should I take that job with McKinsey in Boston? Or should I go to Africa? Man, I vote Africa.
People like yourselves are much in demand to help solve Africa's problems. And you will make a huge difference when you start.
There's no day that is the best day to go. There's no year that's the best year to go. You just have to decide to go.
The people who are going to make a difference is us. And if we're not coming back and using what we've learned, lead by example, consistently, raise the bar, making sure that we're proving people how good we are.
There's so much buzz about this continent, about the opportunities, the challenges. I look at Africa as a place to find opportunity, a place to learn, a place to discover things we haven't yet discovered here.